That's me. Yeah.
You do such a great job.
Oh, I apologize. I apologize. This morning it went down because it was too cold.
I wasn't on this morning, so I cannot. We're your biggest fans.
Oh well, thank you for watching.
This is the Chicago crew.
Wonderful. We have a connection to YouTube, and it broadcasts it from here out, I guess, into the World Wide Web. So. Can someone verify they can hear me at home, please? They want to start a little bit early, so we're already live here just before 5 o'clock, even though the game is supposed to start at 5:20. We're playing Lake Forest Winter Club Black. Again, apologies about this morning and the stream going down. The phone got too cold, I believe is what the issue was. But we're back. Hopefully we stay live. Players seem to be quite excited to play. In goal for us this evening will be Simon. So that means Cora will play back on D. Just waiting on the refs to come out, and I think they'll let them on the ice for warm-ups. I'll be back shortly once warm-ups are over. What's up? All right, we're down to just under 30 seconds before the game's scheduled to get going. All right, again, it's going to be Simon in goal with Cora playing up at D. Playing the Lake Forest Winter Club. Just about ready to get going. Start the screen here. At D, it'll be Henry and Alex with Atlas, Keith, and Chael to start. Face off down, picked up by Atlas, gets it over to Keith. Keith gets it. Keith comes in on towards the net, takes a shot, goes off the outside of the post. Turnover there, picked up by the Winter Club. They clear it out of the zone. Nice hustle by Alex to force him to the outside. Goes behind the net. Picked up there by Henry. Tries to get it up to Chael. A little too far for Chael to get it. Turnover. Back behind our net. Henry forces it to the near corner. Winter Club fires it in. Goes deep to the far corner. Shot there. Knocked down by Keith. Lake Forest picks it back up. Comes right out in front. Puck is loose. Puck goes in, and they scored. Gets it in over the blue line. Onsides at the line. Turnover picked up by Lake Forest. Played there by Paxton. He tries to get it to the net. Can't quite get a shot away. Pushes it to the outside. Lake Forest goes behind their net. Puts the brakes on. They try to force it up the middle. Prime real estate for them to turn it over. Miles shoots. It goes just wide of the net. Comes up to the point. Goes all the way down. Puck's rolling on end. Zane's there to hustle down to get it. Zane with it. Plays it behind our net. Skates up top of the circles. Comes over the blue line. Gets it out. Gets it up to Paxton. Paxton with it. Still with it. Fires it towards the net. Steered away by the goalie for Lake Forest. Played up along the near wall. Miles there to support. Cora fires it towards the net. Goes on goal. Save there made by the goalie for Lake Forest. Fresh set of skaters out there for Des Moines. It'll be Hudson, Will, Charlie, Fipsy, and Henry back on D. Face off there. Won by Lake Forest. They get it out of the zone. Comes up through neutral. Played there by Henry. Fires it right back in. Lake Forest picks it up. Charlie's wiped out on the play. Gets back up. Lake Forest comes away with the puck. They're in all alone. Lake Forest with it. Fires. Goes wide of the net. Picked up behind the net by Hudson. Turnover there, picked up by Lake Forest. They fire it towards the net, goes wide of the goal. Charlie with it, plays behind the net. Tries to pop the boards to himself. Turnover picked up by Lake Forest. Get it to the point. Lake Forest with it. They fire it back in. Behind the net, Charlie's there, pushes it along. Hudson there to track it down. Hudson gets it. Hudson still with it. Tries to clear the zone. Fans on the shot to get it out of the zone. Comes back to the far circle. Lake Forest with it. Still with it. They take a shot. Fired on net. Goes wide of the goal. Henry with it. Tries to push it up the near wall. Gets it to Will. Will tries to shove it out of the zone. Turnover picked up by Fipsy. Fipsy gets it. Hustled down there by Hudson, but it's icing on the play. Defensive zone faceoff upcoming. Atlas on the draw in the defensive zone faceoff. Puck is down, picked up by Lake Forest. They fire it from the point. Wobbling puck, save made there by Simon. Alex back there on D. Tries to push it up out of the zone. Chael takes a poke at it. Comes free to Chael. Loses the handle on the puck. Got to get back on sides. Too late, and it's offsides on the play. Neutral zone faceoff upcoming. Down to 8:25 left in the first period. Face out there by Atlas. Pushes in the offensive zone briefly. Keith's wiped out on the play, gets back up. Right along the near boards. Atlas picks it back up. Atlas with a nice stick move there. Gets it over to Keith. They get it in the zone. Picked up behind the Lake Forest net. Lake Forest fires it right up the middle. Zane lost sight of the puck for a second. Had it in his skates. Couldn't quite corral it. Chael pushes it back in deep. Comes back up out of the zone. Goes all the way down, but it'll be icing on the play. $7:50 remaining in the first period. Easton on the draw. Miles there to corral it. Tries to get it back to Easton. Tied up there in a couple player skates. Comes to Cora at the point. Cora fires it on net. Goes in and it scores! Scoring for Des Moines. Number 88, Cora Snyder. And we are all tied. We're tied. That's all it takes. Good contingency of family here for Cora. Elated to see her score. Puck is down. Picked up by Cora. Fired back right in, but it's offsides. We'll play it again at neutral. 7:32 remaining in the first period. Easton on the draw upcoming. Puck is down. Lake Forest gets it. They corral it back into their own end. Pestered there by Easton. Miles there to support. They fire it back up the far wall. Comes right over to Paxton. Again, can't see because there's a giant beam in my way. Lake Forest fires it up the far wall. Nice play by Henry to keep it in deep. Lake Forest picks it up in their own end. Met there by Easton and Cora. Henry picks it up. Cora there to support, goes behind the net. Miles picks it back up. Got to skate to the puck. Fanned on the attempt to clear. Fired it on net. Played into the far corner. Paxton there along with Henry. Easton there. Picks it up along the far wall. Gets the puck. Turnover. Picked up by Miles. Miles hustles down to get it. Fired around the back of the net. Comes to the near wall. Picked up by a Lake Forest player. Still in the zone. Now they get it out of the zone. Played through center. They get it in. They're on sides at the line. Keep them to the outside. Paxton there with it. Clears the zone. Comes all the way down and out. Lake Forest player plays it, so no icing on the play. Easton tries to fire it towards the net. Goes wide of the goal. Picked up by William. Will with it. Fires it. Tries to center it to Easton. Oh, nice scoring opportunity, but we couldn't capitalize. Picked up behind the net by Lake Forest. Lake Forest fires it around to the far wall. Henry there to pinch in. Pops over his stick. A little too far for him to corral. Comes all the way down. Cora there to support. Charlie there to support. Charlie picks it up in their own end, backhands it, tries to get it out of the zone, gets it to Hudson. Hudson tries to get it to Will. A little too far for Will to connect on it. Goes all the way down, picked up by Lake Forest. Will there immediately. Played along the near boards by Charlie, gets it over to Hudson. Hudson takes a shot. Glove save there by the goalie. We're down to 5:09 remaining in the first period. Offensive zone faceoff upcoming. Hudson on the draw with Will and Charlie on the wing. Alex and Fipsy back on D. Lake Forest gets it. Alex tries to keep it in. A little too far. Will corrals it through neutral. Will still with it. Might have been tripped up on the play a little bit. Turnover picked up by Hudson momentarily. Then Lake Forest gets it back. Still with it. They fired high and over the net. Goes to the far corner. Hudson chases after it. Hudson with the high stick. They don't got high stick. They didn't call it. Charlie with it. Tries to fire it up out of the zone, and it does clear. They got to get back on sides, but it's offsides. Neutral zone faceoff upcoming with 4:34 left in the first period. Face off there taken by Atlas. Zane plays it forward. Zane still with it. Skates through center. Got to spread out. Gets it over to Atlas. Fired towards the net. Stick save made by the goalie. Keith chases it down along the near wall. Nearly putting a headlock. They don't call it. I'm gonna cross check to the back. Miles with it from the point. Tries to get it in. Miles still with it. Fires it towards the net. Chael hustles down to the far corner. Turnover picked up by Lake Forest. Comes to the near boards. Picked up by Lake Forest. Turn around. Miles, they're coming for you. Zane there to support. Zane forces him to go to the corner. Comes free to Chael right out front. Pops it up the boards. It's out of the zone. Turnover picked up by Keith. Keith had it for a second, then came off his stick. Keith still with it. Lake Forest makes a change. Corral it behind our net. Keith with it, comes right up the middle. Be careful. Careful coming right up the middle. Gets it over to Chael. Turns back over, gets it to Keith. Keith with it. Keith still with it. Loses possession of the puck. Lake Forest player gets... Wow! Came out of nowhere. Scored for Des Moines, number 14, Chael Brown. Puck came out of the corner, went right out front. Chael corralled it and sent it home. 3:07 remaining in the first period. Very energetic crowd. Face off, won there by Lake Forest. They fired towards the net, goes wide of the goal. Kale out there to help. Goes back behind the net. Hustle! Way too much puck watching. Got to go get the puck. Easton hustles down. Nice hustle, Easton. Defensive zone faceoff upcoming. Easton on the draw. Tries to get it over to Paxton. Picked up by Lake Forest. Easton gets it away from him. Easton skates up along the far boards. Pops it up the boards to himself. Spread out. Lake Forest player picks it back up. They're on sides at the line. Cora pushes him off to the near wall. Cora gets it up and out of the zone. Comes all the way back out through neutral. Played back in the Lake Forest end. They try to clear through neutral. They do. Cora there to step up. Support. It's 3-on-1 at the line. Easton hustles back on D. Goes up to the top of the circles. They fire it towards the net. Save down there by Simon. 2:03 remaining in the first period. Face-off upcoming with Hudson on the draw. Lake Forest gets it. Plays it up to the point. Going to be onside at the line. They try to center it up to the right in the slot. Goes right to Hudson. Alex there to support. Charlie there with it. Fires it around the back of the net. Goes all the way up the far wall. Takes a weird hop. Bounces right back. Charlie gets it back. Lake Forest has it back. Pressured there by Alex. Lake Forest tries to center it. Goes right through the top of the slot. Hudson bangs into the wall. Gets right back up. Charlie with it. Comes out through neutral. He's got Will trailing with Hudson as well. Onside at the line. Charlie fires it towards the net. Turnover picked up there by Lake Forest. Alex back on D. Where's our helper? Nice defensive play there by Hudson to hustle back. Good back check there. Will hustles in on the offensive zone to try to pester the Lake Forest player. We're down to 47 seconds left in the first period. Picked up by Zane at the top of the zone. We got to clear it because it came out through neutral. Lake Forest fires it back in. Doesn't really get very far with it. Comes back through neutral, down to 28 seconds left. Zane steps up, tries to fire it back in deep. Doesn't get much on it. Miles back there to support. Goes wide of the net. 16 seconds left in the first period. Very high-paced, energetic first period played here. Will with it, with a nice play to get it out of the zone. We're down to 6 seconds left in the first period. Hudson takes a shot. Oh, steered away by the goalie at the last second. And that'll do it for the first period. After one period of play, your Des Moines Jr Buccaneers 2, Lake Forest 1. All right. Second period upcoming shortly. Quick instructions from Jason on the first period break. Switch ends. Simon heads towards the net. Atlas on the draw. Gets it over to Chael. Henry steps up. Lake Forest comes right back. Cora with a nice stick move to push it out to the far wall. Lake Forest comes away with it. Goes all the way to the far side. Cora fires it up out of the zone. It's going to be tipped, no icing. They wave it off, deflected. Atlas hustles towards it. Chael with a nice interception, comes right up the top of through the slot. Keith with the high stick gets caught up in his gear. Turnover picked up by Lake Forest. They come on goal, shot, and they score. Lake Forest came away with it, made a nice play at the line, and we're all tied. 11-19 left in the second period. Puck is down, played along the far wall, comes right to Alex. Alex fires it back forward, tries to get it to Cale. Cale has it for a second, gets it back to Easton. Played out through center. Easton with it again. Easton still with it. Easton tries to fire it towards the net, gets deflected. Easton picks it back up. Easton plays along the far wall, goes back behind the Lake Forest net. They try to fire it up out of the zone. Alex is there to support at the blue line. Comes out, comes free. It's one-on-one. Gipsy hustles back on D. Simon with the shot, deflected, goes back behind the net. They fire it out of the zone. It'll go all the way down, and this will be icing. Sorry, the camera got way too zoomed in. I don't know what happened. Lost track of the play. But anyways, defensive zone faceoff upcoming after the icing. 10:25 to go in the second. Hudson on the draw. Played there. Chased down by Miles. Miles goes into the boards. No penalty call upcoming. Hudson chases it down. Hudson still with it. Nice play, Hudson. Get it out of the zone. Can't quite clear out of the zone. Lake Forest picks it back up. Miles hustles after it. Gets it up to Will. Will with it. Met right there at the line by the Lake Forest team. Charlie fires it. Tries to get it in deep. Can't quite get it in deep there. It comes back out through neutral. Charlie backhands it deep into the zone again. 9:50 remaining in the second period. Lake Forest with it. They fire it up out of the zone. Met there by Miles. Miles pinned up along the far boards. Will digging at it. Hudson's digging at it. Charlie's digging at it. Pop free. Comes right back to Zane. Zane fires it back up through neutral. Picked up there by Lake Forest. And we got a penalty upcoming. Penalty for a cross check, I believe, on Lake Forest. So we will go on the power play. Offensive zone faceoff upcoming. 9:26 to go in the second period. Atlas on the draw here for the power play. Comes right over to Chael. Comes back to Atlas. Comes to the near wall. Comes all the way out. Cora picks it up. Tries to shove it back to the wall. Chael hustles down after it. And they score. Short-handed goal scored by Lake Forest. Face off at center there. Picked up by Lake Forest. Pushed on back through neutral by Cora. Gets it over to Paxton. Lake Forest picks it back up. They fire it back in. Chased down there by Keith. Keith hustles after it. Chael there to support. Comes free to Atlas. A little too far out of his reach to get a shot away. Picked up by Henry. Fires it back in. Atlas picks it up along the near boards. Skates towards the net. Tries to center it to Keith, who's on the back door. Can't quite get it to him. Keith picks it up behind the net. Again, down to 36 seconds left in the power play. Atlas with it. Tries to get it another player, but they can't quite make something happen there. We fire back in deep. Goes behind the net. 22 seconds left in the power play. Picked up by Lake Forest. Lake Forest coming in again. It's 2-on-1 at the line. Pad save there by Hudson. No, excuse me, by Simon. Puck is loose out front. Power play is about to expire. Lake Forest tries to take a shot. Cora makes a nice save with her shin pad. Might be feeling that one for a little bit. Comes free, played back through neutral. Picked up by Lake Forest. Keith tripped up a Lake Forest player on the play. We'll go on the penalty kill. Delayed penalty upcoming on the Bucs. So they will go on the power play. Keith will sit for a minute 30 for a trip. Easton on the draw. Comes up to the near wall. Lake Forest fires it back in. Knocked down there by Zane. Zane tries to clear the zone. Comes right back to the near wall. Puck goes right through the crease, played into the far wall, picked up by Alex. Lake Forest picks it up to the top of the circles. Comes right down. Right on Simon. Sticked away there by Simon. Picked up by Kale. Try to fire it towards the net again. Easton gets it up. Can't quite clear the zone. Kale with it now. Kale skating in. All of the Lake Forest players were back on D, and it was Kale in all alone. Lake Forest clears the zone. It's 3-on-3 at the line. They don't get it in, and they're offsides. 37 seconds left in the penalty to Keith for tripping. 6:34 left in the second period. They're going to switch goalies for Lake Forest. Fresh goalie. Easton on the draw upcoming. Easton wins it to the near corner or near wall. Played there forward by Zane. Zane tries to pop it up the wall, gets it to Kale. Kale run into by a Lake Forest player, gets right back up. Easton picks it up. Easton skates it in the zone. Easton fires it towards the net. Knocked down there by a Lake Forest player. Saved it with her glove. She took a puck right off her glove, it looked like. Play back to the far side. Lake Forest picks it up. Penalty's about to expire for Keith for the trip. Pad save there by Simon. Lake Forest tries to center. Met immediately there by Kale. Pushed up the wall. Comes out of the zone. Lake Forest tries to fire right back in. Zane hustles after it. Deflected there. Zane with it again. Comes right out front. Easton with a nice stick play there to push it aside. Comes free to Paxton. Paxton plays it up along the near boards. He's got Kale breaking towards the net. Loses possession of the puck, goes behind the net. Picked up by Lake Forest, and the Lake Forest player takes a tumble behind their own net. Lake Forest with it still. Pushed to the corner by Cora. They try to center. Intercepted there. Picked up by Zane. Again, a Lake Forest player picks it up along the near boards. Met there by Paxton. We're down to 4:57 left in the second period. Comes back up the near boards, picked up by Paxton. Tries to get it to Easton. A little too far for Easton to corral it and try to have a scoring play. Now Kale picks it up. Kale with it, fires it towards the net. Save down there. Comes free, picked up by Lake Forest. I think we got a chance if we can get the puck on net. There's a lot of rebounds to be had. Easton with it, tries to fire towards the net. Caught up in Paxton skates. Still caught up in Paxton skates. Don't pinch Zane. Zane stays up high. They clear the zone, comes back through neutral. Easton pops it forward to himself, down to 4:18 left in the second period. Easton hustles behind the net, gets it back. We're on a line change, so a few skaters come free. Glove save there by the goalie. Covered, 4:06 remaining in the second period. Offensive zone faceoff upcoming. It'll be Hudson on the draw with Will and Charlie, Cora and Fipsy back on D. Puck is down. Lake Forest picks it up. Played along high in the zone. Lake Forest can't clear it. Charlie picked their pocket. Charlie with a nice play to try to break it up. Lake Forest turnover picked up by them on the far boards. Cora takes a whack at it to save a potential scoring opportunity. Goes to the far wall. Charlie with a nice backhand. Gets it in the zone, but not very deep. Met right there by Will. Will, Charlie, Hudson all along that far board. Hudson with it. Hudson loses possession. Comes right over to 50. He flips it back in. They're in onside, still at the line. Lake Forest picks it up down to 3:21. Goes off Cora's skates, comes out through neutral. Lake Forest in the defensive zone. They skate down the far wall. Cora with it. Cora clears the zone. Lake Forest player on it immediately. Fired back in the defensive zone. They're in on sides. Phipsy takes a backhanded whack at it. Gets it into the near corner. Played up the wall. Comes out to the top. They take a shot. Goes well wide of the net. Way back behind the net. They got a player all alone out front. Can't quite get the handle. Takes a shot. Deflected into the corner. Defensive zone place up. Play. Hudson with it along the far boards. Hudson still with it. Hudson still with it. Fired it towards the net. Saved down there by the goalie. Down to 2:20 left in the second period. Lake Forest with it. Nice stick move by Hudson to intercept. He's got Charlie all alone. He fires it towards the net. It goes wide of the goal. Charlie picks it up behind the net. No, turnover there. Picked up by Lake Forest. They get it out of the zone. It's 3-on-2 at the line. Cora with the collision along the far boards. Lake Forest parents adamant that there should be a penalty upcoming, which it appears there is. Cora's going to sit for a minute 30 for a body check. .156 remaining in the first period. Atlas on the draw. Gets it to Keith. Turnover there, picked up by Zane. Played behind in the far corner. That's a high stick! High stick. Then they played it before we touched it. Offensive zone faceoff upcoming again. We're on the penalty kill for the next minute 20. Lake Forest picks it up. They get it behind their net. Skate out the near circle. They come up the near boards. Turn around. They're coming for you. Atlas tries to make a play on the puck. Lake Forest player. They shoot it. Goes wide of the net. Goes up to the far wall. Turnover through neutral. Atlas with it. Atlas still with it. Nice move at the blue line. He fires it towards the net. Stick save there by the goalie. Lake Forest played it behind their net. Fired up the wall. Intercepted there. They got to clear the zone. Got to get back on sides. Keith with it. And they're going to call him again for a trip. So we're going to go 5-on-3 for 38 seconds. 1:04 remaining in the second period. Five on three for 31 seconds. They fire it towards the net. Henry pushes it to the far wall. Chased down there by Miles. It comes up and out of the zone. All the way out. Comes through neutral. Played right back in. Nice stick move by Atlas. Don't let him get behind you, though. He hustles back. Nice play by Atlas to pick his pocket. We're down to 11 seconds on the 5-on-3. They come in on sides at the line. Met right there by Henry. They fire it towards the net. Stick down there by Simon. Pushed away by Atlas. Penalty to Cora is over. Easton hustles out. Now it's 5-on-4 for the next 47 seconds. They keep it in the zone. Get it out! Lake Forest takes a shot. Knocked down there by Henry. They take another shot and it goes in. 8.6 seconds left in the second period. 4-2 is your score. Easton on the draw. Picked up along the far blue line by Alex. Zane hustles after it. And that'll do it for the second period. Alex took a tumble on the far side, seems to be getting up okay. Simon gives him a tap on the back. Just about ready for the third period to get going. 2-goal deficit. 12 minutes left. Let's see what they got in the tank. They played hard this game. It's been up and down, back and forth. Kale, Easton, Paxton, Henry, and Zane back on D. Played back in. Henry tumbles down on the plate, gets back up. Played along the near boards. Easton's there to support. Lake Forest comes away with it. Zane gets it right back to the far wall. Comes up to Easton. Easton in all alone. Easton's got it. Easton takes a shot. Oh, goes wide of the net. Now that Lake Forest fires it back towards the net. Up and down action here. Zane wiped out on the play, gets back up. Gets it up to Easton. Easton clears the zone. Easton pops it up the boards to himself. Turnover there picked up by Lake Forest. Played at the far blue line. Picked up by Henry. Henry with it, fires it in. Gets it deep in the zone. Lake Forest picks it up behind their own net. Played along the near boards. Pops free to Lake Forest. Zane there to support. Easton hustles back on the back check. They get it towards the net. Steered away by Kale. What was that, Simon? I didn't quite see. There was a lot of traffic out front. Comes right out front. Puck is down. Still loose. Still loose. Goes behind the net. Picked up by Easton. Easton with it. Tries to flip it up and out of the zone. Can't get it out of the zone right there. Goes right back in. Henry takes a tumble. Seems to be getting back up. Paxton with it. Fires it up and out of the zone. Comes back through neutral. They play it in their own end briefly, and then they come out through neutral. Lake Forest with it. They fire it towards the net. Goes wide of the goal. Play to the far wall. Zane there. Kale with it. Fires it all the way around. Gets it up, but not out of the zone. Kale with it again. Kale picks it up. Pops it up the boards. Comes back through neutral. Kale heads off on a change. So does Easton. Charlie hops out there. Paxton hops out there. Paxton hops off on a change. Excuse me. It comes out through neutral. Will chases it down. Will still chasing it down. Comes back to the top of the blue line. Charlie there to fire it back in. Hudson chases it down behind their net. Tries to center for Will. Just too much traffic. Can't get a shot away. Zane hustles back on D. Cora chases it down. Hudson's chasing them down. They keep him to the outside. Fired wide of the net. Goes behind. Comes up to the near wall. Fired towards the net. Goes wide of the goal again. Zane with it. Zane skates it up and out of the zone. Zane still with it. Turnover picked up by Lake Forest. Hudson there to support. They get it towards the middle, but Cora's there to corral it. Charlie made a nice move to avoid getting hit. They fire it right on Simon. Wide of the goal. Picked up behind the goal by Will. Will picks it up, goes up the near boards. Skates it up and out of the zone. He's got Hudson breaking towards the net. Will still with it. Will with it. Tries to make a move towards the net. loses possession of the puck. Charlie chases it down, and they got it. Charlie's going to get a penalty for a slash. Oh, my God. Charlie! Stay focused. No, stay focused. I get it, but he clearly whacked the guy's stick out of his hand. So, minute 30 on the power play to Lake Forest. 8:10 left in the game. They fire it towards the net. Knocked down by Fipsy. Fipsy with it. Fires it along. Comes up the near boards. Lake Forest first on the puck. Keith wiped out on the play. They fire it towards the net. Comes wide comes right out front. Pushed away by Atlas. Simon made the first save. Atlas was there to support. Keith with it. Turnover picked up by Lake Forest. Lake Forest still with it. They got a player out front all alone. Lock up on your player. They take a backhand towards the net. Goes wide. Picked up by Keith. Turnover picked up by Lake Forest. Cora with a nice stick move there to get it up. Does it come out of the zone? No, it does not. Stays in on sides. Down to 31 seconds in Charlie's penalty. 7:09 remaining in the game. They play it behind the net. Gets caught up briefly. Keith with it. Keith tries to clear it up to the top of the circles. Can't quite get it out. Comes over to Cora. A lot of traffic out in front. There's two Lake Forest players going for the same puck. Got to get it out. Got to get it out. Atlas stick handles it, gets it out of the zone. Played forward by Keith. Penalties over to Charlie. Keith hustles after it. Atlas picks it up along the far boards. Chael hustles in after it. Chael tries to fire it towards the net. Deflected there. Tries to backhand it again. Gets it back in deep. Keith with it. Turnover there. Picked up by Lake Forest. Cora in a big collision along the near boards. Lake Forest parents want a lot of calls right now. They're adamant that there should have been a penalty along the near boards. It was a good collision. It might have been slightly more than necessary, but it is what it is. 5:53 left in the game. Miles tries to pick their pocket. They fire it towards the net. Picked up behind the net by Miles. Tries to get it up to Atlas. Turnover there picked up by Lake Forest. Still free along the far boards. Miles with it. Miles still with it. Clears the zone. Puts the brakes on momentarily. Loses possession. Picked up there by Paxton. 5:17 left in the game. Turnover picked up by Lake Forest. Turnover there picked up by Chael. Nice stick. Keith with it. Keith and Easton going together. They're in on sides at the line. They fire it towards the net. Saved down there by the goalie, and they whistle it dead. Easton on the draw upcoming. A lot of animated Lake Forest parents here. And standing most of the game. Puck comes to the top of the zone. Zane wiped out on the play. No penalty call upcoming. Hudson with it. And they got it. Offsides on the play. Neutral zone faceoff upcoming. It'll be Easton on the draw. Puck is down. Kale flips it right back in the zone. Lake Forest immediately clears it out. Henry hustles after it. Takes a whack at it. Goes up the wall. Met right there by a Lake Forest player. They get it back in. They're on sides at the line. Zane takes a whack at it to try to clear the zone. Lake Forest picks it up. They try to center. And it goes wide of the net. Hudson chases it down. Hudson tries to pop the boards to Easton. Hudson with it, gets it over to Easton. Easton tries to stick handle through two guys, can't quite do it. Comes back up to neutral. 4:06 remaining. Zane flips it back forward. Played along the far boards. Easton fires it forward, gets it to Hudson. Hudson with it. Hudson still with it. He's wiped out on the play. Comes back out through neutral, goes all the way down, and we have an icing upcoming. Offensive zone face-off upcoming with 3:39 remaining in the game. Charlie on the draw. Will and Atlas out there. Atlas tries to backhand it towards the net. Comes right to a Lake Forest player there. Atlas with a strong stick tries to make a play to keep it in. Pops free, picked up by Lake Forest. They get it in. They're on sides at the line. Nice stick move by Core to force him into the far corner. Miles there to support. Atlas chases it down along the far boards. We're down to 3:15 left in the game. Atlas with it. Turnover picked up by Lake Forest. They try to center. Good defensive zone pressure by Miles there. They tries to get a one-timer from the point, and he missed on it. Went wide of the goal, went behind the net. Comes right out to Charlie. Charlie fires, flips it up and out of the zone. Down to 2:49 left in the game. Charlie and Will support with Atlas there. Played deep into the near corner. Got to get somebody out front. Cause some traffic. Puck's caught up in the netting. Should blow it dead because it's caught up in the netting. They don't. Puck comes free. Lake Forest picks it up. 2:23 remaining in the game. Turn around. They're coming for you. Play back behind our net. Picked up in the near corner by Lake Forest. Comes up the near boards. Will takes a poke at it, tries to get it out of the zone. 1:53 remaining in the game. Atlas along the far boards. It comes up and out of the zone. They try to get it over. It's back in on sides. It's offsides on the line. Offensive or neutral zone face-off upcoming. Again, 1:44 left in the game. Easton on the draw with Kale and Hudson. Henry and Zane back at D. Henry fires it forward. Goes into the offensive zone. Lake Forest goes D to D. They get it out of the zone. Pressure there by Easton. Easton with a nice hustle. Fires it towards the net. Goes behind. Kale hustles down to get it. Kale fires it back out front. Nobody there to send it home. 1:22 left. We got an extra skater out there. Hudson with it. Loses possession. Keith takes a shot at it. Goes behind the net. Comes right out front. Saved down there by the goalie. 1:12 remaining in the game. Again, our net is empty. Extra attacker out there for the Junior Bucs. Easton wins the draw. Easton with it, fires it towards the net, goes behind. Picked up by Lake Forest. They play it behind their net. Comes right out front. Easton with it. Loses it momentarily, gets it back, tries to take a shot, and it's played into the far corner. Zane pokes at it, keeps it in the zone. Zane fires it towards the net. Blocked down there, picked up by Easton. Zane still with it along the near board, far board, goes all the way down. No icing on the play. Hudson fires it around to Keith, down to 37 seconds left. They fire towards the empty net. Intercepted there by Hudson. He gets it out of the zone. Collision there by Hudson and a Lake Forest player. They both get back up. Down to 24 seconds left. They fire it towards the net. Goes wide of the goal. Atlas there to support. Comes out through neutral. Hudson with it. Hudson still with it. Gets it to Kale. 14 seconds left in the game. Atlas with it. They're on sides at the line. He fires it towards the net. They cover the puck, but they don't stop it because it came free. Comes free. Loose puck in the top of the slot, and it's over. Final score reads 4-2. Lake Forest wins. Appreciate everybody watching. Again, final score reads 4-2.